Hi there, it's Natalie with you today with a new process video for Pinkfresh Studio using Paige Evans' Legendary Collection. And today we're going to work with the idea of transforming pattern paper into something that's going to be fun, a little bit more, I'm going to say, kind of on a gritty design, but with a little bit of a twist. So the paper that I'm going to use, kind of the main focus is this paper that has all these badges. The name of it is I think it's Legendary Moments, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just double checking. I love the fact that little badges, and I wanted to kind of rediscover this paper, redesign it in a way. If you look at it, the colors, it's like kind of collaged on the paper. I want to reorganize them kind of on a grid for my project. So I am going to have to fussy cut all of them. Again, the name of this paper is just making sure that I don't mess it up. So you guys have it completely. It's next level moments or legendary moments. You see, I'm legendary moments. Sorry about that. So, I am going to actually fussy cut, in this case, the badges out of the paper. So I'm using my craft knife and a ruler just to kind of have those precise cuts. And then I am going to make sure that I have colors that repeat and the design too. So you're going to see that right now I'm going to focus on cutting these ones that look like little, I'm going to say like little banners. So I'm going to cut a yellow and a green one, and I'm going to cut that dark green and two of the black ones of the same design. I want repeating colors and in the same design. So for those ones there. So I'm taking my time. I have my pictures. Like I said, I have 2 3x4 pictures. And then I also want to take the other design in the paper. It looks like a little cross, like a label. I'm going to take a blue one, a red one, a teal one, and a white one. So that's the other colors that are not represented in the kind of banner looking ones. So this way I have a nice representation of all the colors in this paper. But like I said before, I am like fussy cutting them, and I'm gonna reorganize them with a fun little twist. So I'm just gonna take my time. It didn't take me that long because there's a lot of straight lines, but I wanted to make sure that I had like a really clean design. You can do so many things with that because it already has like a stitching design on it. You can actually go ahead and stitch them. I didn't want to because first of all, I wanted to use them, like I said, I'm going to use them as banners for my layout, but you can stitch them, you can fold them, because you can go ahead of it, you can create a second design, you can trim and make them even smaller. There's a lot that you can do with this, and it's just using up your paper. So you're going to see kind of my idea, what I have in mind. I know that I want to have all those flag banners, kind of in a row with my pictures in between, and I want the other like kind of looks like labels, like little crosses in the middle with my title in between. So again, I'm gonna take my time. These are very easy to cut, by the way. You can use, to help yourself and make it easier, use a ruler and a craft knife just to go ahead the straight lines, and it just takes very little to detail the edges. So again, like I said, I want to make sure that I kind of repeat the same colors in the columns where the pictures are at, and then complement with the other colors in the paper and also in the collection in the line in between. So that took for me a little bit of time, not too much. And then once I come back, I'm going to show you what my idea is. Like I said before, I want to go with something that looks more organized, not mixing the patterns that much, and I'm going to create a grid, and to give it like a little bit of a different touch, I'm gonna transform the grid into banners. So before I do that, remember how I said I'm starting with a white cardstock that's 11 by 11. I need to actually frame that, and I wanted to get something that was going to be very complementary to all of this. So I am using the next level content pattern paper for this. I'm going to trim a 1.5 inch by frame from it. So I'm going to cut the inside of the paper and just leave the outside, and I'm going to glue my paper right around a 1/2 inch from each one of the edges. Once I have that in place, then I can go ahead and start setting up all my little badges and the pictures in place. And I'm going to use actually a pencil to help me with that. So you're going to see, like, I'll just take the inside of the paper. That way I can use it for another layout. So like I said before, I want to keep myself organized. My idea was to move the position of, let me say, yeah, the position of the banners so it looks more as the grid on my paper and keep it more on an organized. See, I'm repeating the same color, the closest that I could on the sides of the pictures. I am going to use a ruler to make sure that I line them up properly, so that, like, I keep those straight lines. I'm going to give it a little bit of off the center when it comes to the pictures, just because I'm a little bit larger, but I want to make sure that my banners are all in the single line. And I was, at the beginning when I started this, I was considering actually hanging the banners from the top to the bottom, but as I went along, because the pictures were, it would have looked a little bit off if I didn't center them. So I decided to actually hang my pictures across, like, the width, not the height of them. So once I have set everything, I mark each one of where my labels or my little pieces are going to sit. I'm going to go ahead and create perforations at the corners of each one of the banners and the labels. So you see, I'm taking my little time to do that, just on the top, not at the bottom, just on the top corners of each one of the banners and the little labels. Once I have that, I have all my pieces ready. What I wanted to do, is to actually use pattern paper to make sure the pictures pop a little bit more from the page. And the reason is because I have white borders around my picture, and I also have white cardstock for my background. So I thought just a really fine frame was going to work for this. So I went into the 6x8 paper pad and just backed my pictures so that I have around less than a 1/8 of an inch around each one of the pictures. Once I have that, and I'm going to set them, in place, you're going to see right now, I am actually going to start working on creating my banner situation here. So I'm going to help myself with white twine and also with a little bit of foam adhesive. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the thinnest foam adhesive that I could find behind my banners, and I'm going to set them in place. Now, once I have them in place, you're going to see that I'm making sure that my banners kind of go at the bottom of my, at the back towards the bottom. That leaves the perforations that I created free, so that I can thread the twine through them. And for the bottom, the top and the bottom row, of banners and labels, I'm going to make sure that the string is left loose on the left and the right of it. Now, for the two center ones, because I have my pictures in them, I'm going to make it look as if the twine is coming from behind of the paper, so kind of wrapped around it, and this way the string is gonna show on top of the banner. So wherever the string is gonna be loose on the left and right, the string is gonna be thread from behind the banner, but when it's going to be the twine looks as if it's coming around the page, then the twine is gonna go on top of my badges. That just gives a little bit of a different look. So for the bottom row and the top row, I'm gonna create a double knot on the left and the right edge of it, so that it gives me that idea that the banner is just hanging there. And then for the other ones, like I said, for the ones in the center, I am going to actually continue the line, mark at the dot, or at the point, where the on the white cardstock meets the color pattern paper, and I'm going to create perforations there, and I'm going to thread my twine so that it goes to the back of the page, and then I'm going to use double-sided tape to secure it to the back. Simple as that. This took me some time because I just want to make sure that my lines are kind of straight-ish as much as I can. So that means that my twine has to be like really taut, so it has that kind of fool the eye. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be like, close enough. So I'm just taking my time on working on that. You're going to see that I was thinking about using, it's not rivets, eyelets, for this, but I did not want to add any other interest. I wanted the interest to stay on the badges and the labels, is that what I'm going to call them? So I just was careful with that. I am not using any eyelets for that. I'm just creating the perforations. So once I have, like, my banners ready, I'm going to go ahead and place my pictures. Like I said before, I'm going to flip my page. I'm going to make sure that the string is nice and taut, and I'm going to adhere it, with double-sided tape to the back of the page. And once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I place my pictures. Now keep in mind that when you add in twine onto the layout, you add in dimension. That means that if you place your picture right on top of the twine, it's going to leave a space behind it because the twine adds a little bit of dimension to the page. So to balance that out, I'm going to make sure that I add foam adhesive behind the picture, making sure that the foam adhesive doesn't sit on top of the twine. So it sits to the side, and that's going to balance the height, or that's going to balance the picture and make sure that it sits nice and straight on my paper. So what you saw me do right now is just I play with the edges of the twine that were loose on the top and bottom row of the layout. Just added a little bit of glue so that they kind of curls at the ends. It looks nicer. Simple as that. Now, once I have my pictures, I don't want to add much because the badges already have a lot of interest in them. So all I had to do is just add simple designs onto the pictures. I'm just setting them in place. They're a little bit off the center, and that just helps when it comes to adding the title, because my title is going to be right in the center. I went into the chipboard accents for this, the chipboard title, and I just looked for one that actually had a lot of black, because I want black and silver. It's going to pop from everything else that I have on the back, and it makes sure that it fit between the two pictures. Once I have that, I'm going to add a little bit of interest to the sides, the left and the right of the pictures. So I'm just adding some cardstock stickers. Also, I'm going to add some ephemera just to the right of the right picture, the left of the left picture. I'm going to play with some enamel dots just to add a little bit extra pop of color. I'm also gonna bring one of the silver hearts from the chipboard elements just to add a little bit more interest to the title. But then I'm gonna help myself by bringing that little pop of color, that extra pop, using the enamel dots. I'm gonna place them right at the bottom and top and bottom corners of the layout, and also on the top and bottom corners of the title. Just gonna create this little cute zigzag diagonal look onto it, and that's about it. I find that it was actually this quite a simple layout. Like I said before, it's just a way of reimagining your pattern paper. That's all I did, is just cut off the pieces. Instead of having a pattern paper, I separated the badges, and I'm just kind of reusing them in a different way. I'm creating a banner with it, and I hope actually this kind of gives you a good idea for a project of your own. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I would love to help you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more beautiful content. I'll see you soon, guys. Take care.